In this video, I'm going to show you my workflow process using Davinci Resolve 18.6. I'm not an expert at this. I've been working with Davinci Resolve for about 2.5 to 3 months, and I am learning. But this is a workflow that has been working for me. It's not perfect, but it does work. Now I'll be color grading some dlog-m footage that I shot with my DJI Mini 4 Pro. I have Davinci Resolve pulled up on my computer. I'm going to import 2 media clips that I'm going to color grade. And I'm going to just right click on this and import media. The first clip is here, dlog-m1, and the second one is here, dlog-m2, and click open. And the frame rate should be okay, 24 frames per second, but I'll double check that later. All right, so here are my 2 clips. The next thing I want to do is get them onto the timeline, so I'm going to click Edit, and let's drag that first clip onto the timeline, and the second clip, which is a much shorter clip, onto the timeline. I don't want this video to run for any length of time. Now that they're on the timeline, the next step is to go over to the color page, and I'm going to create a serial node. So on my keyboard, I'm going to depress Option S, and that brings in this serial node. I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call it CST, which stands for Color Space Transform. That said, I'm going to go to the Effects menu here and scroll down to find Resolve FX Color, and I'm going to drag the Color Space Transform widget on top of the CST serial node. Once I've done that, it brings up this dialog window, and this is where I'm going to change some settings. My input color space is going to be DJI dgamut. My input gamma is going to be DJI dlog, and as you can see here, that footage is graded. I'm going to make some tweaks to it, but that looks pretty good. The output color space, going to change that to Rec 709. I'm just depressing the R on my keyboard to get me there quicker. Rec 709, where are you? There you are. And my output gamma is going to be gamma 2.4. And so this is what I have. Once I have those settings inputted here, I'm going to close out this window to give me more real estate over here. So I'm going to click on this effects icon here to dismiss that. Okay, I'm not going to touch this CST or color space transform serial node anymore. I'm going to create 5 more serial nodes. So I'm going to depress again the Option S, and I'm going to label this serial node highlights. The next serial node is going to be called primary, so I'm going to depress Option S again, and let's give this a name of primaries. Let's do another serial node, Option S, and I'm going to name this one Hue Versus. You see why in a few moments. The next serial node, I'm going to label that one Sky, Option S. And the last serial node, I'm going to label that one Sharpen. So Option S, right click, node label, and we'll name that one Sharpen. Okay, so I'm not going to touch this one anymore. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional serial nodes that I'm going to be playing with, and the reason why I created 5 because it allows me to just do some fine tuning. I could very well just leave this as it is. This very first serial node, and come in here and make some adjustments. That's fine. But since I'm learning Davinci Resolve, I want to learn it correctly. So this is a learning process, and nodes is a very powerful way to fine tune your footage. I could even import a fake sky or create a fake sky and replace the one that you see here on the screen with one that has billowing clouds or whatever. But I'm not going to do that in this video. Okay, so let's operate on the very first serial node, which is called highlights. So with this one, I'm going to select the qualifier tool, which is already selected. Then come over here and go to Luminance, right there. And at the bottom, I'm going to select low. I'm going to double click on that and change that to 65. And the low soft to 20. Then I'm going to come over to the color wheel. If you don't see it selected, it will be this one right here, to where it says highlights, and change this to -100. And I'm done with the highlights 0 node. The next one is primaries, so I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to play with the gamma wheel here. So I'm going to manipulate this gamma wheel while watching that footage. See there? So I'm going to bring that to a point that I'm happy with. I'm looking at the sky as well. I don't want to blow it out. So let's find a happy medium here. I think that looks good to me. Then play with the gain, see what I can do with that. Not a whole lot. I think that was fine where it was, but I'll stick with that. Then I'll adjust the lift here if needed. About right in there. Actually, nothing changed. I'm going to leave it at 0. I think that's pretty good. And it's going to depend on the footage that you shoot. So whatever you change down here is going to depend on the footage that you shoot. Now, on this particular day, it was somewhat overcast. It was a mostly cloudy, but not a fully cloudy day. And there just was not a whole lot of details in the sky. So I'm done with the primary serial node. Next, I'm going to go to Hue Versus, and I'm going to select the curves icon right here. I'll get this curve. Then select the Hue versus Hue icon. See, Hue versus Hue. That's why I named this Hue Versus. Then I'm going to create some points down here. Now, I'm looking at the footage here, and I have some green in there, and there's some blue. I really want to get this more defined, that horizon out there, but we'll get there. So the first step here is to create some points. I'm going to select these two blues here. I'm going to move these up and down to see how they impact the footage. So I'm going to begin with the green over here and just go up a little bit. When I go up, you can see I get more red. So if I go below that line, things get more green. So I'm going to place it right back in the middle. I think that looks pretty good as it is. Let's go to this next one. Let's move it up. And as you can see out in the background, it gets out here. It gets green. If I bring it below that line, it gets like a more purple. So I'm going to place that right back in the middle. I think that looks good where it was before. Let's go to this next one. And I can see where it does have an impact on this area back here. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And this red one here, if I go up with that, it does impact the reds here, for example, and here and back in there. So I might bring it up just a little bit, not a whole lot. And I'm happy with that. To the right of this one, I'm going to click on this icon. This is the Hue versus Saturation. And do the same thing, create some points by clicking on, I'm going to click on the green, blue, blue. And let's see how this impacts the video footage. So I'm going to go up a little bit. And I can see where it does have an impact on the grassy areas here. And I like that right in there. Let's go to this next one. I'm going to leave that where it was. And this one. Okay, now I do see where it does impact the horizon, so I do like that a little bit. So I'm going to bring this up just slightly. Let's go to this next one. And I'm going to leave that right there. And this one. And again, it does impact the colors of reds and oranges. Red and orange, rather. Okay, I'll leave that right there in the middle as well. And to the right of this one, we have another one, Hue versus Luminance. Let's create some points to play with. And I really want to get this more defined back here. So let's look at this one. Let's bring it up a little bit. And the area right there. A little bit above that line. That looks good. The green. Not much impact there. Let's try the blue or teal area. Now that one does have an impact on the horizon. Notice what happens here when I bring this down. See how more defined that becomes? And that area is right in here. So that looks really nice. So I'm gonna leave it right there. And let's see what this one will do. Okay, it does bring it out a little bit more, pulling it down. And on this one, not a whole lot, so I'm gonna leave that where it is. So I'm done with the hue verses. The next one is sky. Now with this one, I can use this serial node to create a fake sun. I can actually place a sun over here someplace, but I'm not going to do that in this video. Or I could actually try to bring out some more details in the sky. So to do that, I will click on the Windows icon here, then scroll down and click on the gradient tool right there, and it pulls this up. I'm going to drag this up to the top in the middle there, and let's pull this down to where it's just above the horizon right there. Then I'm going to play with these primary color wheels here to see if I can bring out any details in the sky or even change the color. So I'm going to begin with the offset here, and I'm going to go right here in the middle here and move this, say, in the 11 o'clock position. Notice how that sky gets a little bit more orange. If I go in the other direction, down toward the blue, it gets bluer. And that's where I'm going to take it, right around in there someplace. Okay. Next, let's do the gain. I'm going to go in the same direction. Notice how that sky gets a little bit bluer. And the same thing with gamma. A little bit more details come out in the sky. And again, on that particular day, there wasn't a whole lot of details in the sky. And lastly, the lift. I don't want that blue, but right around, and there looks good. You can also grab this and move it up if you don't want all that to be blue, and say like right in there. I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. About right there. All right, so I'm done with the sky. The last one will be sharpen, and in my video footage, and it's a personal preference, I like to add a small tinge of sharpness, not a whole lot. So I'm going to select the sharpen serial node and then come down and select the blur icon right here. And look at radius. By default, the RGB or red-green radius is set to 0.5 by default. I never go below 0.47. So I'm going to grab this one here and pull this down until it gets to 47, and that's it. If you watch the image here, and if I keep on going down, look how sharp that gets. That's just too sharp. So it's set to 0.5 by default. 47 works fine for me. So I'm done. I'm going to dismiss the nodes momentarily. And let's play this back. I can see the birds right there. I'm sure they can see the drone. And with the color grading, it's a lot of it's personal preference. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to stop it. Now, I'm happy with this, so I'm going to right-click on this and select grab still. And what this will do is this will create a preset. So if I import another clip, I don't have to go through this process again. So I'm going to select grab still, and it places that preset over here. I'm going to give it a name. So I'm going to right click on this and select change label, and we'll call this dlog-m PS preset. Okay. And this preset might not work for other footage that you may take because the day might be different. All right, so to demonstrate this, I'm going to go to edit, and I have another clip here that I imported. All right, so this first clip here, I've just color graded. Now the second clip, as you can see here, hasn't been color graded. So I'm going to select this, then go to color, then right click on this preset and select apply grade. Now that's color graded. So let's play that back. That looks nice. Okay, there you have it. Let's stop that. And let's bring our nodes back in. And so these are my nodes: color space transform, highlights, primaries, hue versus, sky, and sharpen. Now, to export this to YouTube, I'm going to click on this deliver icon at the bottom. I'm going to give this a name. Let's call this test footage, test dlog-m footage. And the format will be QuickTime. The codec, we're going to change this to H.265. The resolution will be 4K, so I'm going to select 3840 by 2160 Ultra HD. Quality, where it says automatic, I'm going to change this to restrict to, and I'm going to change that to 100,000. And make sure that the encoding profile is set to main 10. You could select main 4.2.210, but main 10 is a 10-bit, and dlog-m is 10-bit, and so is HLG. So make sure that main 10 is selected here, and then add to render queue, and I'm okay with the name, and click save and add. Once it appears over here, then I'm going to click render all. And Davinci Resolve will render this into a 4K video that I can upload to YouTube and get very good results. So once this has been rendered, and as you can see here, it's a progress window, I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and I'll be back at you to show you what it looks like. Okay, here's the video footage that I've uploaded to YouTube. As you can see here, I labeled it test dlog-m DJI, and let's select a resolution here. Let's take it up to 4K, and let's play it back. It's 1 minute and 23 seconds. It looks very good. I can see those birds there. I'm pretty sure you can too. I like the colors, the saturation. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit here to that second clip right there. Okay, I think that came out pretty good. That is my workflow for now, and I will continue with it and enhance and build upon learning Davinci Resolve. This is Ron. Thank you for watching.